want to start by talking about JD Vance, and I want to talk about these kids. So for folks who haven't seen it, there's this Politico story about a leaked text message chain with a bunch of Republican operatives, and they were saying stuff like, I love Hitler, and they were talking about gas chambers, and they were making light of rape and things like that, and slavery. And a lot of people, including like the young college Republicans, spoke out against them. A lot of other Republicans and conservative pundits came out against it. But you know who did it? It was JD Vance. JD Vance rose to these guys' defenses, and they're trying to make them out like they're kids. Some of these guys are like 30 years. And Vance yesterday was both sides against. The first thing he said is he brought up the Democratic candidate for Attorney General in Virginia, saying some pretty awful stuff about, violence, which shouldn't be said, and that's wrong too. And I don't think, both sidesing this is the right way to go. But this is learned behavior for these young Republicans with Donald Trump and JD Vance in charge of the Republican Party. This is what they're going to do, and they don't feel like there's any, structure where they're going to be punished for this. They're going to be given jobs. They'll be future cabinet secretaries in the MAGA movement as far as they're concerned. And the questions I have for Vance that, he'll never answer would be, and I think about this as a father, about the kind of kid I want to raise, is like, would you be okay if your son said these things? Would you be okay if your daughter, when she grew up, dated a man like this? Would you hire somebody like this? Would you say something like this? And I think those are barriers. Those are lines that shouldn't be crossed. And he should answer for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And these kids, I knew that they were going to say these kids, that I should say.
They're like 28 years old. They're not kids.
I know. I knew they were going to say these kids. And I knew they were going to say, well, this is this kind of locker room talk, and we need to give them, look, I give college students, a wide berth or whatever. But still, these are the leaders of the future. And some of them, the leaders of the party right now, who are very influential. And they wrote on there that they said, if this ever, something I'm paraphrasing here, if people ever find out about this, we'll be canceled if they ever see this. And they continue to write about it.
Right.
And so I just, even the governor of New York spoke out about it and said, what are you talking about? These aren't children. These aren't kids. These are the future leaders of the party. These are the people that they pick to be the generation that comes after them. This is important shit. It starts as a joke, perhaps, but the stuff that they were talking about, calling black people monkeys and watermelon people or whatever, I mean, that's not funny.
No. And like, I'll add two thoughts to this. Like, one, I think there are large parts of wokeism, quote unquote, to the extent that it exists, that I think did win too far. And there were some legitimate gripes that people had with that, but that's not what this is. Like, this is genuinely offensive, troubling stuff that people in any play, I mean, I've been in plenty of locker rooms. You've been in plenty of locker rooms in your time. Like, I've never heard anybody talk like this. And I would have told them this stuff when I was playing football in high school, or if I was anywhere else. So there's that, but there's also a double standard here that I think needs to be brought up. These are young, largely white Republican operatives that these guys know. And
just so you know, these are the future of the Republican Party. They're young leaders, elected officials, campaign operatives, people working inside the government. These are the ones this is what I wrote yesterday, being groomed to run this country one day.
Yep. And the point I want to make is they're largely relatively young white men. And I know there's some women in there that I've seen, but I haven't seen a single person of color saying anything like this. But when it's a 14-year-old young black man in the inner city who gets killed by a cop, they start acting like they're, a superhuman adult. And so this is the kind of stuff that drives me nuts, is that, they're kids because they're 22. But when it's a 22-year-old college kid, when it's somebody who makes a mistake, a regular person, not somebody in the political system, they have no love or defense for them. And that drives me crazy, usually particularly because they're black or they're Hispanic.
Yeah. If you're watching this and you think the same way, that these are kids and it's fun, these are some of the quotes. Everyone who votes no is going to the gas chamber. That's a quote. Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. That's another quote. I'm ready to watch people burn. That's another quote. It was rape. That was another quote. Rape, Hayden. Great. That's another quote. Great. I love Hitler. Another quote. I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkeys play ball. That's another quote. Stay in the closet, faggot. Another quote. Fat, stinky Jew is another quote. And that's not all of it.
Yeah. And that's not something I would ever say. It's not something I would ever think. And I just don't get it. I don't get defending them. I don't get the vice president of the United States defending them, other than he has this reflexive view that if the left is mad about something, it must be good. But let's keep in mind, like, JD Vance said some pretty awful shit about Trump in the past. Like, I say this all the time when they're screaming about how we called them Nazis, which we don't. I've never called them Nazis. But, the only serious American politician in this country that's ever called Donald Trump Hitler is JD Vance. So,
Right.
I mean, this is a guy, I have very little respect for him. And I think you just have to, again, I come back and I relate it as a dad and somebody who's trying to raise a good man in my son. It's like, if my son ever spoke like this, I would be ashamed of him. I would be disappointed in him. If one of my employees spoke this way, they probably wouldn't work here for much longer. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the question I'd ask JD Vance is like, if somebody who worked for you spoke this way colloquially in the office, would you tolerate that? And that's not wokeism. It's not a joke. Like, you can go to a comedy show and a comedian can make a joke that you find offensive. And it's okay, in my opinion, because you can choose to leave. Like, that's different than like a giant Republican operative group chat where they're talking this way. This is how they talk in private. This is
Yeah.
what they think in private. This is what they want to accomplish in private. And I take them at their word because we keep reaching the bottom of the barrel of what these Republicans are willing to do. And we have to stop sitting here. And how many times have you heard somebody go, they're not going to ever get rid of abortion. They're not going to get rid of Roe v. Wade. They can't do that. And then they
Yeah.
do.
Right.
Yeah, and
Right.
now they do the same thing with gay marriage. They do the same thing with the ICE raids. Like, oh, the ICE raids are never going to happen. They're not going to be as serious. And now the city of Chicago is a powder keg with people being pulled off the streets. So there's no bottom to this. Like, we have to take them for their word when they say these things because they keep doing these things.
You know what? Whenever I bring this up, you brought up the point about most of these are young white men and people. I mean, they lose their mind when I talk about this. But when I discuss it, I've been called racist. I've been called delusional or race baiter, anti-white, or that I was just pointing at the obvious. But look, I'm wondering, like, am I those things, or was I just warning people that this would happen? Because it's the truth. It's according to the Cato Institute. It's according to the FBI, right? It's according to the Anti-Defamation League. That, like, there is a problem with these young kids who feel disenfranchised, but also on the others, well, they have to pick up a gun. That's one thing. The other thing is that they also feel now that it is okay to be racist, and they don't see anything wrong with it. And I believe that is because Donald Trump is the imprimatur for all things racist, all bigots. They feel like, okay, now, I have permission to be able to say these things, and nothing will happen to me.
Yeah.
Well, nothing will probably happen to these kids. Sad to
And they're
say.
not kids. Let's be clear. They're not kids. They're adults.
Excuse me, I can't keep saying
Yeah.
kids.
I did the same thing yesterday. I have a very viral tweet right now where I called them kids, and I'm like, people are mad at me, and I'm like, you're right. They're not kids.
To these young people, I think
Yeah.
nothing will happen to them.
No, I'm telling you, they're going to get promotions inside the Trump administration. It's just like, remember, was it Big Balls was one of Elon's young men that were working inside of Doge, and he was saying all kinds of Nazi Hitler stuff. JD Vance rose to his defense. They fired him, then they brought him back. And this keeps happening. The ICE agent from like 2.5 weeks ago, who violently attacked that woman in the middle of a hallway and threw her to the ground when she was trying to like just see her husband. Like, that guy got fired. DHS released a statement saying this is not the conduct of an officer, and they rehired that guy. That guy is doing his job right now when he shouldn't be doing it.
They hired him back?
They hired him back. Yeah.
Why did they fire him then if they were going to hire him back? I know why they fired him.
I think somebody in the chain of command there was like, this is wrong, and then they got overruled by somebody else. Because they can't accept any responsibility for their actions, and they certainly can't treat anybody with basic human decency and empathy. Yep. I felt that deep breath you just took in my bones. Like,
I just don't know. I don't know what to make of this. Let's talk about that, about all the people who are getting beaten up around the country. Did you see this woman in the New York courthouse yesterday?
No, I haven't.
Which I think is the energy we all need.
No.
She was amazing. She stood up to these guys at the courthouse, and she said, come at me, bro. And I want to play it for you. And I know it's you'll be able to hear it, but I want to play it for you. Wait, let me get it to the point. Hang on one second. I just want to get it to the point.
While Don's doing that, I want to remind people, please subscribe to both Don and I Substack. Support the work that we're doing. Don is crushing right now on YouTube. Go follow him on YouTube. Become a paid subscriber. Support the work that both of us are doing to build independent media that can speak out about what's happening in this country right now, because we don't have enough of it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
Okay, here it is. So,
Don.
Here we go.
You okay?
No, how can I be okay? You okay? Are you okay?
Are you okay?
I look like I'm okay? Don't come up in my face here because I hit hard. Fuck wrong with y'all.
Try it.
I wish you would.
Try it.
You try me and see what the fuck happened. Nigga, we angry. All of us angry out here. So don't think it's y'all alone.
Get out of here.
Who you telling get out of here? Why you telling me get out of here? You asked me a question and I'm answering you.
Get out of here.
Fuck wrong with you? Oh, stupid ass bitch. That's why you gotta hide your face.
You wanna go to jail?
You told me my mother can tell you anything.
You wanna go to
Fuck
jail?
wrong with you? You wanna hit me? Hit me, bitch. You ain't got me. Nobody's scared of you. You're a pussy ass. Come. I got rings on, bitch. So me and you gonna fight, you pussy bitch. You a pussy bitch. That's why your kids them don't like you. And your wife is fucking on you. That's why you gotta hide your face. My face ain't hidden, bitch. I'm American, you stupid bitch. Fuck wrong with y'all. You can take me too high. I'm sure in the Zodiac friends. You know what to do? Tell them, no. You want me? Fuck wrong with y'all. Fuck all of you. Put that on the news. Let Trump see it. I'm so fucking ready, bitch.
Remind me
He
never to
said,
trust.
put Trump on the news and let him fucking see it, you bunch of fucking rednecks.
I like it's the I'm from this country, you motherfucker.
She said, I'm a citizen, and then she said her full name. She goes, I'm whatever Azul, but and if you want, that's who I am. I'm not afraid of you. Look, I think we need that kind of energy because people are tired and they're frustrated. When I was in Chicago, I noticed, I realized that people were coming to me all the time saying, I'm tired of people telling me how to mourn, meaning talking about Charlie Kirk, not that they were mourning, or how to react to the death of someone that I found repugnant. I'm tired of people telling me that I'm not supposed to feel that way, or they're trying to monitor and censor what I say and feel. That's not what America's about. I'm tired of people pulling people off the streets and at person after person after person. And I do believe the anger level in this country is boiling. And guess who's causing it? They are causing the problem. And if there is an emergency, right, where he wants to invoke the Insurrection Act, it's going to be because they incited it just like he incited and inspired an insurrection.
Yeah. That's what they want. Like they are terrorizing the city of Chicago right now because they want the people of this city to react in a way that is violent so that they can justify the Insurrection Act, so that they can turn Chicago into a test case for all the shit that they want to do to militarize our cities. And that's not right. And I will say this city is not backing down, but is also not playing into their hands. The city's being really, really smart about how it's responding and coordinating. Like I've spent the last week helping to coordinate drop-offs and pickups at schools. We're doing a Know Your Rights event at the school that I'm on the council of tomorrow with all our elected officials. Our congressman's going to be.
Did you see the woman picked up today or yesterday?
I haven't seen anything today. I've been in meetings all day.
There was a woman picked up yesterday, and she was in two women. She was in like a pink sweatshirt. Threw her to the ground, and she's saying, my name is, she gives her name, and she goes, they have no warrant, they have no, and they said, my door was locked, and they unlocked it remotely. And I was like, wow, how do they, I guess they have the technology. And she
Yes.
said, and they pulled both of the women out of the car. At least I saw the one. I believe there was another woman. Both of them, Mike, were later released and not charged with anything.
They're going after people indiscriminately, Don. There's another video that I saw last night of a guy who was in his car, and I like step out of the car, and he's like, "What have I done? What are you accusing me of? Do you have a warrant? Is there something?" They don't even know this guy's name. They're making determinations about people because their skin color is brown. That's all that it is, or because they look Hispanic. That's it. And then they're going to figure out everything else later. So they're detaining a bunch of people who were here legally, people who were born here. And look, like that woman in that video right now, if I had to guess, she's from like the Virgin Islands, just based on her accent. I'm making an assumption there, but like she's part of the United States. She's American. And these people don't even know that like Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico are part of the United States. That's why they're attacking Bad Bunny. Like TPUSA is planning that they're going to do their halftime show because they're offended that they couldn't get a real American to perform at the halftime show of the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny is from fucking Puerto Rico, is probably the biggest superstar on the planet besides Taylor Swift, and is going to play at the halftime show. And they don't even consider him an American because he's brown. Like, what the hell is this?
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
You know what that is.
I know what it is, but
I know it's a figure of speech, but I'm just saying, you know what it is. It's fucking racism.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's white supremacy. They don't think anybody's a real American unless they're white. And guess what? Even the white folks are not real Americans.
Right.
The only real American, if you want to qualify it that way, if that's how
came
you
over on the Mayflower. That's it.
And define real Americans, then all brown people who are walking around in this country who come from Native American ancestry, and even some Mexican people who were here before white people came. If you want to say real Americans, they're actually the real Americans. So
Right.
You just stop that bullshit. But they're so ignorant they don't understand. The conversations that I had on the ground in Chicago were just mind-boggling. Number one, speaking of speaking of picking up people indiscriminately, 66-year-old black man, born in America, had his birth certificate there, his state ID, his social security card. He said they didn't care. They just didn't want to see it. It was in his backpack. Yet they took his backpack, but they rounded him up and took him in.
Right. Did you
So
see the woman? See the woman who is adopted? So she has a white sounding last name, and she carries her passport around because she's Hispanic, and they pulled her over. And she goes, "Here's my passport. This is my full name, et cetera." And they keep going. I don't remember what her last name was, so I'm sorry to say, but it's like they were like, "You don't look like a Johnson. You don't look like a Johnson. You know, this isn't real. This passport's not real." So now they're questioning because the show your papers people can easily become the your papers aren't real people. And so it's just going to be like one layer deeper, 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 deeper to attack these people. And what they're really doing is they're terrorizing people that, in my opinion, are just as American as you or I. All right.
Yeah.
I'm the first person to tell you get rid of anybody who's violent, secure the border. Those are right things. I think Democrats have to take responsibility for the conditions that we've created that allowed Republicans to win and do the type of things that they're doing, but they've taken it too far and they're harassing anybody that's here. And again, if you are working hard and taking care of your family and contributing to your community, you're a fucking American in my books. I don't care what your immigration status is. I really don't.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just, when I was there, I encountered some people who said they're not violating people's due process or anyone's rights. They're asking them for papers, and I'm like, no, they're not, ma'am.
Yeah.
They're not doing it. Yeah. Can we talk about
It's bad, and it's gonna get worse.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. It's going to get worse. I'm glad you said that. It's going to get worse because the longer I believe that we allow this to happen, meaning Americans, the media, all of us, Donald Trump becomes more emboldened. And I actually think at this point, he's probably surprised by what he's been able to get away with.
Yeah. I will. The only thing I'll say about that is I think they're probably a little surprised with how unpopular these moves are. And LA was unpopular. What's happening in Portland is unpopular. The public is aware of what's happening in Chicago, and about 60% of them oppose the militarization of the cities. They don't believe that Chicago is a war-torn city. So they're failing at the communication game. I think because Democrats and the independent press and people online are doing a good job of pushing back on that stuff. If they thought this was popular, if they were seeing popular support for this, it would be actually much worse than it is right now. And Trump is very vain and aware of his numbers and aware of the midterms. So the more that we push back and create the conditions where people don't accept this as something that the American people that this country's government's going to do, we're a little bit safer. I say a little bit because it's not a ton. They still may go haywire, but they're shitting bricks right now about the No Kings protest this weekend because we're going to get millions of people out into the streets, and they are afraid of what happens when people rise up and when they see that they have more power than the government does, and that's what
Mike, they're going to do something to try to distract. They're going to do. I mean, maybe they'll declare a war or something somewhere.
Yeah, and you know what? The mainstream media will bite on that. That's what they'll invite you and I on TV to talk about. But independent media needs to stay focused.
Yeah, we will stay focused. But yes, they will bite on that as they always do. And as they are now, because I don't see nearly enough coverage of these people getting beaten up. I'm surprised that it's not wall-to-wall coverage that people in America, many of them American citizens, if not most of them that they're rounding up, or are in the process of becoming an American citizen, they're just having their rights violated. It's not, and what the Fifth Amendment says, what is it? That all persons, not citizens, deserves the right to, innocent until proven guilty and due process. But, I think the more that I hope you're right, that they're embarrassed. I shouldn't say embarrassed. They're concerned about the numbers and maybe that'll slow it down. But I also think, as I said, the more that they're allowed to get away with, the more emboldened they will become, like Pete Hegseth over at the Pentagon, now demanding that people sign a paper saying that they're going to run everything that they're about to report or publish by him.
Yep. But you know what?
What the fuck is that?
But you know what? The media's standing up to them, and I apologize, everybody. My phone's about to die, so I have it plugged in, but I'm burning more power than I'm gaining in the plug-in right now. So Don, I might have to go in like 3 minutes, or if I drop it. But I mean, look, the press are standing up to him. Even Fox News said no. Fox News, ABC, NBC, CBS, they all said no. And that should tell you that, like, again, they're the definition of give a mouse a cookie. Every time somebody has obeyed in advance or complied with what they've wanted, they've come back and asked for more. Anytime that somebody has said no and put a hard line in the sand, they've largely left them alone. You see these, I think MIT was the first school this week to reject this loyalty pledge that the Trump administration tried to get them to sign. The media is rejecting it. He's increasingly unpopular. I do think we're winning this fight. We just have a lot of very dangerous people running the government, which means it could go in any different direction. They could declare the Insurrection Act. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And I think they'll be surprised at the reaction from the American people on that. The American people do not like being tread on, and that includes a lot of conservatives too.
Yeah. Well, look, as far as the media goes, I'm glad that they're standing up. I just think they should have done it a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be in this position right now. Mike, I'll let you go since your phone is having issues. As much as I like looking at your handsome face, I'm going to
Right back at everybody.
see you next time. Thank you. I'll see you later. Mike Nellis.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.